Hey everyone, and welcome to this Q&A video. As you can see, we have a special guest right here who wanted to cuddle with me during this. He's exhausted because we just went on a walk, so my golden retriever Brody will be right here joining us. But basically, I just felt like I had some splaining to do. I feel like we needed this catch up because I've been seeing so many questions from you guys in my Instagram photos, in my DMs, comments on YouTube videos. So I'm like, okay, I just want to like answer everyone's questions right here, the most frequently asked ones. So I posted on my Instagram story. If you guys aren't following me on Instagram, you totally should. It's just my name, Gretchen Geraghty, and yeah, you can just follow along that way. I'm like really active, post a lot of stories. But I asked you guys questions you wanted to hear for this video, and I just picked the most frequently asked questions since, yeah, they were just the questions that I saw the most. Before we get into it, I want to shout out the sponsor of today's video. Thank you so much, Felix Gray, for sponsoring this video. You guys know I would be nothing without their blue light blocking glasses. I seriously wear them all day, every day, because I'm always on my phone, I'm always on my computer, obviously editing videos, editing podcasts. I feel like I notice I get so in the zone when I do my podcast, and I will literally wear these all day long because I'll like plan out my podcast on my computer, record the episode, edit the episode, do all the show notes, everything. And so yeah, these are like a lifesaver. These are the Jemison style frames. The Jemison and the Volta have to be my favorite just because they're their larger frames and I have such a big head. Fun fact if you guys didn't know that. So yeah, these are the Jemison style. The blue light blocking glasses from Felix Gray are just amazing. We all know how damaging blue light can be for your eyes, eye strain. I get the worst headaches. My eyes will get kind of like blurry vision, and yeah, it's just not good. So you need your blue light blocking glasses. These are the Nash style frames. If you have like a little bit of a smaller head, these are just a little bit smaller. I know their blue light blocking frames actually filter out 15 times more blue light than their competitors where it matters most. So if you have thought about blue light blocking glasses for eye fatigue, headaches, things like that after a long day, just being on your phone, on your computer so much, I cannot recommend Felix Gray enough. They have such amazing quality blue light blocking glasses. Like I've had these for years and I just feel like they're a lot better than really cheap ones you can find. So I'll have Felix Gray linked down below. I know they have ones with prescriptions you can get it. Obviously mine don't have prescription because I don't need to wear glasses or contacts or anything. And I wanted to make sure I told you guys today, going up April 26th, and they actually have a sale going on right now for the next week through May 2nd. So you guys use the code CHEERS at checkout. You'll get 15% off everything on Felix Gray. Don't forget, code CHEERS at checkout, 15% off of literally their entire website. So I'll have them linked down below. And now let's get into the Q&A. I have all the questions put together. Number one, this is the one I saw the most. I knew this was coming, and this is like a big reason I wanted to make this video, to just explain our situation. I should be wearing like Max's jacket right now, or you guys know the jacket that I have with his number on it or something, because so many of these questions are about Max and his situation. I was thinking about having him be in this Q&A with me, but I'm like, I can just explain it to you guys and I don't need to make him sit through me explaining it. So question I saw the most: are you moving to Philly? When are you moving to Philly? Are you moving to Philly for Max to play for the Flyers? Some of you were very observant in some of the questions I saw. Oh, are you moving to Philly in the fall because that's when his contract starts with them? Okay, let's just set it all straight. You guys know it was really exciting recently. Max signed with Philadelphia Flyers, his first NHL contract. So obviously so exciting, could not be more proud of him. But it actually starts for this coming season. It's a 2-year contract, and so it starts for the 2021-2022 season, so this coming fall, and so it'll be next season and then the season after that. However, I feel like what most people don't realize, and I understand why you wouldn't, because I was literally talking to Max last night because I was preparing for this Q&A, and I'm like, Max, if I was like an outside observer, I would think that you were moving to Philly like right now and playing for them. And I feel bad, so many of you actually are in my DMs, and we have friends in Boston and stuff being like, I'm going to the Bruins Flyers game tonight, like can't wait to see you play. Or people will DM me like, I'm watching the Flyers Bruins game, whatever game on TV, like I'm cheering on Max, and I'm like, well, he's not there. So but I understand why it's confusing because he signed with them. So in my mind, to kind of simplify things, I think of it as like he's signing with our organization for the next 2 years. So for me, I'm just selfishly happy knowing where we'll be for the next 2 years, roughly. We know that we'll be within the organization, so we know that we'll be within like an hour time span between Philly and Allentown, where we are currently, because he's playing for their American League team, the Lehigh Valley Phantoms. So Are we moving to Philly? I don't know, TBD. And when we'll have a better idea of where we'll be next season is after their training camp in the fall. So what happens before the next season starts, they have a training camp. I think it's like a week or two long. And in my mind, it's kind of like tryouts, but it's not like tryouts, but it's sort of, I mean, I guess in a way it is. And they go to training camp, and then by the end of training camp, they just say, hey Max, we presume, if anyone knows hockey better than I, can you like correct me in the comments down below? By the end of the training camp, they'll be like, hey Max, we assume you will be playing most of your games in Lehigh, so keep your apartment in Allentown, Lehigh Valley, because that's where you'll be most of the time. Or they'll say, hey Max, we think you'll be playing up with the Flyers or NHL team most of the time, so you should move to Philly. So we kind of just have to wait here from his organization where they think he'll be playing. I think both of us kind of think that we will be here at least a little bit. It would be really exciting obviously for him to get called up and at least have a couple games with the Flyers, but we will see how that all works out. So I feel like I just explained that for so long, but I've seen so many questions like that. Basically, I think what I didn't realize and a lot of people don't realize is signing an NHL contract with them doesn't guarantee that you will play for their NHL team. It's just kind of like you're with their organization, and within the contract, which is what everyone doesn't see, is that there's like the two levels to it, the NHL team and the American League team, which is where he is now. So yes, are we moving to Philly? We don't know, TBD. That's like the answer to all these questions. I don't know. Okay, this question is, has Max played in his first NHL game yet? So no, he hasn't, and that's why this NHL contract was like so exciting, because it's kind of like one step closer. And I mean, you guys should see like when he was 1 day old, like his infant pictures literally are him with like an NHL hat on, and he started skating when he was like 2 years old or whatever. So he's just worked at his dream of playing in the NHL for so long. So I just feel so lucky I get to like be a part of it and date him, and I don't know, it's just really exciting. I'm obviously like beyond proud of him. So no, he hasn't played his first NHL game yet, but one day he will, and you guys will be the first to know. I'm sure I'll be posting all about it because it'll be really exciting. This says, where do you see yourself and Max living in the next few years? So the thing about dating a hockey player, being a hockey player, living the hockey lifestyle is you don't know where you're gonna be really ever. However, he just signed the contract like I was saying, so we know where we'll be roughly for the next 2 years, which is just really nice. I was kind of like sigh of relief, because in the back of my mind this whole season I'm like, okay, like in September I'm gonna be getting movers and we're gonna have to go wherever the team is that he signs next with. So it's just really nice that we're staying here, because it's very common that you move around a lot, and I don't even want to say the T word, they can be traded, which is like so sudden. Like it's like the next day they hop on a plane, go to the next team that they're playing for, and then the girlfriends and wives and children and dog are left behind to pack up everything and follow them. It sounds like really funny when I put it that way. So we don't say the T word around here because that would be a whole thing. But obviously this is just such a fun, exciting time in his life, in my life, in our lives, and I wouldn't have it any other way. It's just like when we're young in our 20s, we can live wherever, and I feel so blessed and lucky that I do YouTube, my podcast, Instagram, everything like that full time, so I really can live wherever. And it's kind of exciting in a way that his job will bring us new places that we never would have moved to without his hockey team. So like being here in Allentown, I never would have just moved to Allentown, you know what I mean? But I've learned to love it here, and there's so many great reasons that like I love living here. So did I answer your question? Where do you see yourself and Max living in the next few years? So I guess during the season, hopefully for the next few years, we will be in Philly or Lehigh Valley, Allentown. I keep saying Allentown's a city, Lehigh Valley is like the area, county, I don't know. I guess what I could actually say that we have more control over is in the off season. So like in the summers, where do you see yourself and Max living? That's a really good question, because we've always said Boston, because that's where we met. Well, not because that's where we met, we just happened to be there. We both love Boston. It's close to my family, his family, closer to his family. His family's on Cape Cod, so it's like an hour away. Kind of in between though, because then my mom obviously is in Albany, and that's like 2.5 hours away. We just love Boston. Bottom line, I obviously lived there for 5 years when I went to BU, and I just know we would love to be there in the off season or even outside of Boston, something like that. But yeah, to go into the next question, are you spending the summer in Boston / the Cape. Okay, this summer has been, you guys are right here with us, you know how open I am. But I like talking about our plans and stuff like this because then we can like look back in the future. Like I even look back at, you know, videos I filmed like a year or two ago talking about plans, and it's like, oh, how little you actually know, right? So we've always talked about we want to be in Boston off season, and suddenly it's April, and we literally were having like the longest conversation yesterday about it. And I've always talked about how I've wanted to buy a place in Boston that I could rent out during his hockey season wherever we're living. Don't leave me. But it's April already and their season ends next month, and that just like hasn't happened. Obviously with the pandemic, I'm not like traveling to Boston to look at places, and to be so transparent and upfront, I'm like, oh my gosh, I don't know if I'm ready for this huge responsibility. I was about to say I'm 23. I guess I turned 24. Wow, 24, which sounds old to me now, but like I don't know if I feel ready for a huge responsibility. I don't know what I can afford. I don't, you know, I've never owned a property. I've never bought a home, a house, a condo, whatever it would be. And so I'm just starting to feel like, oh my gosh, I don't know if I'm ready for that. Short-term leases are like crazy expensive. We have this lease through September. So we're like, okay, we literally decided yesterday, we're like, all right, let's stop trying to make Boston be a thing for this summer. And we'd rather wait, know for very certain that we have like enough money for a down payment on a place, know exactly what we can afford. Like, you know, I feel like home buying is a long process, and so I would not want to rush into that at all. And it's obviously so permanent and like the biggest commitment, and I'd also have to figure out the whole renting situation, blah 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 blah. I never knew we'd be doing this, but just talking with his teammates and their wives and girlfriends, so many of them have homes back home where they're from, and then they just rent them out for like the 7 and 8 months during the hockey season, and then they can live there in the summer. So I know that's ideally what we would want to do. I feel like these answers are so long. So this summer, I believe our home base will be, watch, this will change in like a week, but I believe our home base will be here in Allentown, and then I'm sure we will just visit my mom a lot in Albany and his family on the Cape. I mean, Cape Cod in the summer, like come on. So I'm sure we'll just visit them in the summer. Oh, but actually too, for later in the summer, Max was saying he wanted to be here anyway to train here because there's obviously a rink and everything. So yeah, like to go into the next season. These answers are so long, I gotta speed this up. Have you gotten the COVID vaccine? Yes, I have. It's Moderna, and I think it's great. I'm so happy that I finally got it and was eligible and everything. I think they're great and the next step toward getting out of this pandemic, right? So yes, I did. Thoughts on getting another dog? You know, I've been so gung-ho on another dog, haven't I, you guys? I feel like I've talked about it so much. I'm always like, wink wink, nudge nudge, Max, like another golden, how fun would that be? Like a brother for Brody. But more recently I've been like, you know, that would just be a lot harder. Can any of you that have 2 dogs comment down below, because we obviously have one and I feel like it's not that bad. He's also an angel and we love him so much, and have just gotten our routine with him very down pat. But I just feel like 2, like if we had another one right now, he could be running around exciting Brody, and they could be like running around all day when he's like very chill on his own and calm. So I just feel like, oh, bye. I feel like it would just be a lot more work, and I felt like dog sitting my friend's dog recently made me realize that their dog is literally an angel. But just having another dog around, well, I mean probably 2 because it was only like 2 days. Like Brody knew it was like a visitor and it was exciting. Brody was just so like hyped up the whole time, like running around, being crazy, how he's not normal like that just when he's with other dogs. So it's just making me realize it seems like 2 is like double the work. But thoughts on getting another dog is eventually one day maybe, but like we're not in any rush. And Brody seems so happy with life the way it is, hanging out with us a lot. He goes to daycare with his friends. You see our neighbors. You have so many friends. You literally have more friends than me here. This says, have you and Max had a serious conversation about marriage? Yeah, we've said a bunch that we're not in any rush. I've always just felt like so young, and I know at this point I'm 24, Max is 26. I feel like that's like obviously normal. So many people our age are married, and honestly the more that we've gone through this hockey season with his team, so many of them, like the majority of everyone is married. So I feel like it's made us sort of like think about it more, even if subconsciously, just because we're around so many husbands and wives. But yeah, we're just like not really in any rush. I always felt like, oh my gosh, I'm so young, that seems so serious, I'm not ready ready for that. But honestly, a YouTube comment kind of changed the way I thought about it. One of you guys commented and were like, well, you always say like, oh my gosh, no, marriage way too soon. But they were like, Gretchen, like what would even change? You guys already live together, have a dog together, are very committed to each other. Like we know we don't want to be with anyone else and we want to spend the rest of our lives with each other. So that's kind of like the marriage conversation. Like obviously we know we want to get married at some point. But then I'm like, wait, yeah, I guess like how we're living now versus if we were a married couple wouldn't really change. So I don't know why the idea of it scares me so much. I think I told Max the other day, I was like, it just seems really permanent. Like if we were in a fight or something, I couldn't just like break up with you. Like it's kind of nice knowing, it sounds so bad, that we could just be like, all right, let's just call it quits, it's not working out. But like if you're married, like you can't do that. I don't know, obviously that's not, I don't know, that came out wrong, but you guys know what I'm talking about. This says, would you ever live overseas if Max decides to play hockey over there? See, you guys are just asking all the current questions, because Max actually has asked me this like a couple times. And the first time he asked, I was like, oh my gosh, like what? Like my whole life's here. But then I'm like, I mean, I guess so. Like why not? Obviously I love him. If we could bring Brody, oh my god, he's like right in front of me right now. And I mean, while we're young, have little responsibility, like no children or anything yet, like why not? That would be crazy. Like what other time in your life do you get to go live in Europe? I mean, I guess when you like study abroad in college, but I actually didn't study abroad. So I think it would be like obviously the biggest change. And I think about like logistically with my work and the people that I'm working with in the US, we'd be on very different time schedules, or like getting packages or stuff shipped out for my videos or whatever. It would be crazy, but I mean, I'm not opposed to it. And I think when you are in a committed relationship with someone and you love them and you're supporting them and having them follow their dreams, and you know, like how could I say no? So I guess what I'm realizing by explaining this is, yeah, I would. Why not? So I guess we'll see one day. We'll cross that bridge when we get to it. This says current favorite Starbucks order. I wanted to pick these two little fun ones because I feel like these change. So I feel like for the longest time I was doing like the dirty chai, right? I still love the dirty chai. I love getting those on Sundays. And that's just a chai latte in Starbucks, but you add espresso shots. I'll do like one or two. I don't do too many. Don't go too crazy. And because I think there's caffeine, I know there's caffeine in the chai tea already. So then it's just like, woo, lots of caffeine. But it's so good. And I do almond milk. And then my favorite right now though, did I just delete? Oh no, I just deleted all the questions. My favorite right now though is the vanilla cream cold brew. So good. Except for there's one Starbucks around here that does way too much sweet vanilla cream, and so I know at some Starbucks I do light sweet cream, but then other places if I just do sweet cream vanilla cold brew, it's like the perfect amount. So yeah, vanilla sweet cream cold brew, try it if you haven't. It's so dang good. Okay, favorite purple shampoo. Wanted to put this in here because for all my blondes listening, if you didn't know this, you need to know this and you need to go get it right now. I'll link it down below. Clairol Shimmer Lights. Not that expensive. It's the best purple shampoo. I have been blonde since I was 9. So please trust my opinion here. I've tried so many purple shampoos. This one's the best. Literally will make your hair so bright. Like I need to use it right now. I feel like my hair is looking dull. And if I leave it in too long, it gets like silvery even for like a day. Like it goes back to normal. But I'm just like, yes, that's what I want. Something that like actually works. I feel like so many purple shampoos don't do that much. Clairol Shimmer Lights, don't forget. It says, will you start traveling again once you get your vaccine and it's safe? I mean, definitely. I guess not anywhere to the scale that I was before, like in college. I just had like a new trip every week. I don't know how I lived. I mean, I do. It was very hectic lifestyle. I was very like unhealthy, and I mean like literally I was sick all the time from just being so worn down from all this travel, class, like being really social. I just had the most hectic lifestyle in Boston. So it's been so nice to slow the F down here. But yeah, so nothing like how I traveled before. Like I was traveling all the time. I remember I would just had pace of like, I was just obsessed with traveling. I remember I would be going home on trips, or I'd be, yeah, like flying back home, and I'd be in the airport like booking my next trip. Like I just could not sit still. But I'm happy that I had that time period in my life to have so many travels, especially pre-pandemic. Like college me must have known to get a lot of traveling in before a pandemic was gonna come. But yes, I will. I'm just sure not to that scale. And obviously I have a dog now, and it's the best thing in the whole world. Like I don't, and I know we're in a pandemic, but I don't even feel like left out or like bad if I can't do things because of him, because he's the best thing ever. So I'm sure Max and I would love to go somewhere warm, or you know, like a fun little trip like that, but obviously we just haven't been able to with the pandemic. Like for our anniversary or something like that would be so fun. So yes, definitely, once it's safe. This says long-term goals for kids, ideal living location. I saw some questions like, so you're gonna live in Pennsylvania forever now? And I'm like, oh my gosh. I mean, I guess we could, but I don't see that for us. Maybe every question is like, I don't know, I thought I'd pick a lot of these like future type questions because they're always fun to look back at, like I said. So people always ask about freaking marriage and kids and engagement, and like I get it because we're a couple and we're young, but long-term goals for kids is kids, definitely, but one day, not anytime soon. And yeah, again, like I said, just being around his team and so many of them being married and having like babies, so many babies and young kids, it's definitely, I feel like, made both of us like think about it more, but also realize like, yeah, we are so good with this baby fluffy golden right here and not like a human baby yet. So they're just like a lot more work in my eyes, and obviously just like the biggest decision and thing that happens in your life is becoming a parent, or one of the biggest things, you know what I mean? So yeah, one day, not anytime soon, not in any rush, but yeah, that'll be such a fun chapter once we get to it. Ideal living location would be, like, again, I really can only talk for the off season here, but yeah, Boston, we love it there so much. Outside of Boston even, so we could have like a house with a yard. Brody, that would be so great. And you know, I feel like if you asked me this question for the pandemic, ideal living location, I would be like, oh, well, anywhere Max and I want to be. Like, if it's in my mind, I'm always like, for people that can live literally anywhere, why don't you live in like Laguna Beach, California? Like, well, maybe you haven't been there, but whenever I go there, I'm like, this place is freaking heaven on earth. More and more recently, I'm like, do I want to live there? But then I'm like, no, that is literally so far from our family. And so what I was gonna say is, before the pandemic, I'd probably be like, well, wherever we want to be, like if it's Laguna, if it's, you know, anywhere like fun and where we like the weather, and why not? But now the pandemic has just taught me so much how obviously important family is, and I've always known this pre-pandemic too, but I think I never realized growing up why so many people like stuck around in their home neighborhoods, or yeah, like didn't stray far. Like, why wouldn't you, like, the world is your oyster, move across the country or whatever? But now I get it, because you want to be near your family, and it's like, family is just so important. Like, why wouldn't you be near them? So yeah, I feel like now I'm in, like, if Max and I obviously starting a family, like it would be so great to be near his family, my family, for all those reasons. So yeah, I guess ideally it would be northeast near Cape Cod, Albany, New York, where our families are from. And yeah, will we be in Pennsylvania forever? I mean, I don't think so, but who knows? Maybe if we end up in Philly, we like love it there so much and want to have a home, like a forever type of home in the suburbs of Philly. So I guess we shall see. This says, when do you want to get engaged? I knew, I was like, okay, I have to do one of these because freaking all these questions say this. And it's funny because it's not really when do I want to get engaged, but where I want to be. Where I want to be proposed to. I'm freaking crazy. Poor Max has to deal with me. But I wish he was here right now. He would be like dying laughing. So actually, like poor Max, right as I met him, like I swear it was before we started dating. I remember obviously we're like chatting, getting to know each other, and I remember being with him and just being like, guess where I'm gonna be proposed to? Like, what a weird question. And he's probably like, huh? Like, where you're gonna, okay. I'm like, yeah, like my future husband's gonna propose to me here. Like, this is where we're gonna get engaged. She's like, all right, like let's hear it. And I'm like, Tuscany, Italy. So that's always been in my, I wonder if I've like said this on my YouTube channel before, but when I was in Tuscany, oh my gosh, like freaking what, 3-4 summers ago now, I don't even know when that was. I just remember the world, like time stopped, like the world like stood still, and I was standing on this little like cliff thing hill, and I'm just like looking over Tuscany, and it's so beautiful, like the most beautiful scenery landscape I've ever seen. And there was a nice breeze, it was like perfect weather and just so pretty and felt like heaven. I don't know, I'm like, this is where I'm gonna be proposed to. So when do I want to get engaged? I don't know, I guess Max has more of a say in that, right? When he's ready to propose, because that's what the boy does, I guess, traditionally. But yeah, he always says, so now he's always like, well, you're gonna know when you get plane ticket to Italy, then you'll know. So, you know what's funny? He's like, I wonder if we'll actually be engaged, if he'll propose to me there. Because maybe he wouldn't at all, because then like I would know, right? Because I've always talked about it, so then it wouldn't be a surprise. I don't know, guess we'll see. This says, are you renewing your lease for next year? I don't know. So go through September, and yeah, that's right around the time training camp will be, probably September, October. So we might even have to go month by month for a hot sec, just so we can figure out our situation and see where they tell him to live, if it's here or if it's in Philly. So we shall see. This says, if Max were to be on a different NHL team, would you move every time? And yeah, I guess so. I feel like I've just learned a lot again from his teammates and their families and seeing what they do. And yeah, I mean, typically the families will go with them. This season's weird because it's such a short season with COVID. So actually a lot of families that have like a lot of kids and stuff just stayed back home wherever they're from. And the dads, you know, the players just came out here because it was like a 4-month season. But yeah, I mean, I guess it would like depend on the scenario and if there was a trade. We don't say trade around here. You know, then it could be like, all right, maybe you just go and I stay here for the rest of the season. I guess we will see. But yeah, I mean, ideally you want to be with your partner wherever they are, right? And it's so fun during hockey season. Go to their games, everything like that. I'm going to a game tonight and it's gonna be so fun. This says, how has Max being signed changed your life? Wait, how has Max being signed changed your lives? I feel mean saying this, but like, not at all. I feel like I'm being so mean right now. I feel like it like sounds so cool and it looks so cool, and it is. Like, don't get me wrong, I'm not trying to downplay it at all, but just like, and obviously since it starts next season, like, it hasn't changed our current lives right now, like, at all. I mean, he's had like a lot of interviews. He's in like the Cape Cod Times, like where he's from, like the newspaper and stuff. So yeah, it's just cool in that way, and like a lot more people, I don't know, are like interested or keeping up and like following along his hockey journey now, but it hasn't yet, and I feel like that's something people don't realize. And you know, I feel like a lot of people think, I mean, I know a lot of people think, because everyone's in my DMs, right as it was happening, so many of you guys, and I get it, like, you're being funny or whatever, were in my DMs being like, oh my gosh, get it sis, like looking at the salary that they have of what his NHL salary would be. They're like, oh my gosh, like Max being the breadwinner or something. And I'm like, okay, this is Max and I were talking about this last night. I'm being so open with you guys, but you guys know that's how I am. Like, that's just not, he doesn't make that much money because he hasn't played for their NHL team yet. And yeah, I just think people are getting the wrong idea. I'm like, no, like people are like, get it girl, and I'm like, no, like I make my own money and pay for my own stuff, and I like it that way. I like that I do my own. I feel like our dynamic would be, I don't want to offend anyone though, because I know a lot of people in relationships, like one partner works the other one and it works for them, and I think that's great. But I think for us, I would feel weird and feel like it would disrupt our dynamic if only one person was working. Maybe it'll end up being that way one day if we have children or something, I don't know. But yeah, what I'm trying to say is it hasn't really changed anything. Like, he's still making the money that he was always making down here, which is like cut in half because of COVID anyway. So yeah, I just feel like a lot of people get like the wrong idea. This says, what's your favorite simple memory of your dad? In parentheses, I hope you don't get sad from this. That's really sweet. And no, you're not making me sad. I always just get really like sentimental now when I think of my dad, and I just know that time obviously helps so much as time goes on. I have more of like a sweet, fond, nostalgic feeling instead of just really freaking sad. But obviously I still get sad and just have such like a feeling of like loss. Like, you just feel it in your stomach. Like, you're like, all I want to do is just like see them walk in the door and hug them. Okay, I need to not say this stuff because I'm going to be emotional. But favorite simple, I don't think I could pick one favorite memory, but I just feel like lately I've been thinking so much, like so many things make me think of him, and I'm so grateful for that because we were just so close. Like, music that comes on, Nora Jones came on the other day and I'm like, don't cry, don't cry, don't cry. Like, thinking of my dad, obviously. Weirdly, when I've been leaving restaurants recently, songs that were like my dad's songs, or at least my dad's songs with Lucy and I and my mom, would come on. And Lucy and my mom actually went out to dinner for my mom's birthday the other day, and I was supposed to go, but you guys know I had the flu. It was like a whole thing. And so they were leaving dinner and they were like sending me a video, and they were both like tearing up, being emotional. And I didn't even know this, but Knocking on Heaven's Door came on. You guys know that song? And my mom was like getting emotional, telling Lucy how it was her song with my dad, and Lucy and I didn't even know that. And Lucy was like, why the heck was this your guys' song together? Like, it's such a sad song. She's like, oh, I don't think I ever realized it was sad. We were kind of just like heaven, like more, I don't know, like in a loving way, like being with you is like heaven, like a lovey, their song together. But yeah, we keep feeling like songs from him are coming as like signs when we're like in restaurants or like celebrating my mom's birthday, something like that. So yeah, like Nora Jones, the Bee Gees, he listened to like all sorts of music. But whenever songs that he would play a lot, or like his favorite songs would come on, I obviously think about him so much. And I feel like I talked about this in a video, but I feel like a lot recently I just think about like him as a person, and physically him as a person and how he looks. Or if I see people that were like him or him in stature, like big tall guys, obviously I think of him because he's 6'9", and like everything about him was big. Like, I can close my eyes and like put my hand up to his hand, you know? He had like the most massive hands friends. And like, yeah, I'm gonna cry talking about this too much, but I can just think of like everything about him. Like he had big blue eyes, and like his one tooth of his like front teeth, one was like kind of crooked, and like his nose and his eyebrows, and like, I don't know, I can just like see him so well. And I was like talking to Lucy and my mom about it recently, and I'm like, I don't want to like forget that. Like I know what his, like in a bathing suit, his chest and his back and his arms were covered in freckles because he's so Irish, or like stupid little things like that. How his hands are massive, and how his like fingernails look, and his like feet. This sounds so weird and so dumb. I don't know if any of you feel this way, but I'm like, I don't want to forget any of that, or like his hair, like I don't know. Yeah. Whew, sorry, went down like a little bit of a rabbit hole, but I think about my dad every day. So if you are grieving loss of someone close to you, you're not alone. And now of course I'm getting emotional because I just said all of that. Okay, let's talk about this because I'll be happy. Okay, this says, how is Lucy doing? What is she up to? Lucy's my twin sister, for maybe the like 0.1% of you that don't know, because I'm sure like all of you know. But if you guys know, Lucy's been in Ireland so much the past like year and a half, 2 years, living with her boyfriend Dara, who is from Ireland, and he lives there. And she's back home with my mom now, so my mom's so happy about that, in Albany, New York. And she is just sort of job searching, looking to start her career, as many people post-grad are now. And yeah, so that's what she's up to, just kind of looking for a job. I know ultimately, obviously, her and Dara want to live together in the same place finally, because they've been long distance for over 3 years, and their relationship has always been long distance, like very long distance, from like the US to Ireland. But he's finishing up school, she's got to get a job, stuff like that. So I guess they will see when they're able to do that, but that's what she's up to. Oh, sorry, I feel like this Q&A is getting so long. I'll try to go quickly here, only a couple more questions. This says, any vacay plans this summer? So interestingly enough, when you ask, actually this video is going up right as I am in the Outer Banks. I will have left yesterday once you're seeing this. But so I guess that's like early summer, but that's the only plan I have so far, is I'm about to go to the Outer Banks to, I actually talked about this in the last video a little bit, to my best friend Taylor's beach house, and it's gonna be her birthday while we're there, and we have a couple friends going. We're all vaccinated, all good in that department, socially distancing, masks, the whole thing. So yeah, I guess like I was saying earlier, I'm excited to travel when it's safe. So this is really safe, and we're all really excited that we can go. We're literally just like staying at her house, not doing anything else, because that's like what we do when we're there anyway. It's just really fun. So yeah, that's that plan. And I guess travel, I don't know if it's travel, but obviously like visiting our mother. So yeah, in Albany, Cape Cod, like I said before. This says, favorite place to buy bathing suits? I actually saw a couple of these questions being like, help, I'm going to the beach soon, or whatever, summer's coming up, I need your favorite place to buy bathing suit. This is very new, like of this week, but I ordered a couple bathing suits on Revolve for going to the Outer Banks, and I love these bathing suits. I feel like I've always just had like, well, not cheaper bathing suits. I have some that are cheap that I always love, and I have some from Frankie's that are actually like really expensive, and I like those too. But I just feel like I haven't branched out and tried from new places, so I've never had a bathing suit from Revolve, and I love these bathing suits. They make me feel so comfortable and confident. I feel like they're so flattering, like way more flattering than the bathing suits I already had. Maybe they just like fit me better. I don't know what it is. I love these bathing suits. So yeah, I would recommend looking on Revolve for bathing suits. They're definitely pricey, but I think the difference in these versus the ones I've had is they're just like better quality, and now I'm like, I'm never gonna be able to go back. These are so nice, look so nice, feel so nice. I'm so comfortable and confident in them. So yeah, I guess that's my new favorite, because I am obsessed with like the 4 bikinis that I just got. This says, do you ever think you'll become a soul instructor? I saw a couple of these as well. You guys know I am like an avid SoulCycle rider. I feel so a part of the SoulCycle community. I love them so much, and I have obviously been able to work with them sometimes on like YouTube, Instagram, which is the coolest thing ever. But I mean, never say never, but I doubt I'll become an instructor, because knowing me, what I love about SoulCycle is taking the class and being able to like just forget about everything else going on and sort of like get lost in the class. I don't know how to describe it. And like, I was gonna say zone out, but I'm not zoned out. I'm obviously paying attention, following everything like that. But I think if I had to lead the class while being in it, it would change everything, and it would be obviously more of like a job, more stressful like work, and I'm not just worrying about myself on the bike and just like having fun dancing around. I have to like watch everyone in the class and do the lights and the music and talk the whole time, and yeah, it just seems like not what I like out of SoulCycle. Like, I love taking people's classes, but I don't know if I love leading a class. I think it's just very different. I've never been in any sort of teaching position. I actually really don't like, and I'm not good at public speaking, which is so funny because of what I do on YouTube. But I feel like you guys are just like in my office with me right now, hanging out with Brody, and so it's just a different feeling than having, like, if I saw however many thousand of you sitting in here on the ground in front, it would like freak me out. But yeah, I don't know. So like, I don't think so. Last but not least, I like this one. I thought this is a fun one to end on. Something we don't know about you. And something, I mean, you guys know like everything, and some of you probably do know this, but I just like can't think of anything else because I literally share everything. I'm so open. Like, yeah, you guys know more about me than I even, some people will like DM me and I'm like, wow, I like forgot that happened, or oh my gosh, wow. So you guys really know me well, if you've been with me for a while. But something you may not know is that I have a twin sister, Lucy. I know you know that, but we were actually really premature. We were preemies and we were born 2.5 months early, which is really early. But I know being premature as twins is like a common thing, that twins come earlier, but my mom actually had preeclampsia or toxemia. Isn't that what Kim Kardashian had? I think it's when your body starts to like reject the pregnancy and you're really sick. So my mom got really sick, and I remember she wasn't feeling good, her stomach was hurting, whatever, and with like a high-risk pregnancy like twins, they just have you come in a bunch. So I remember her story is she called my dad when he was at work and was like, I don't feel good. He's like, okay, go in, like I'll meet you there, whatever. And she goes to the doctor and she was like, what, 31 weeks pregnant, you know? And he was like, they're coming out today. And my parents were like, what? Like, we're not ready. And so what you may not know is Lucy was 2 pounds and I was 3 pounds. Like, that's crazy tiny, if you didn't know, for infants. So there's a picture, it's so iconic, of my dad's hand, and it's like Lucy, me, because we were literally like the size of what, like hamsters, like guinea pigs, like I don't even, like so many. So yeah, we were born extremely premature, and we were in the incubator at the NICU in the hospital for a month after we were born. So yeah, that's my fun fact that you may not know about me, something you may not know. Were any of you preemies? Comment down below, preemie club. It's funny because I feel like my parents obviously were so worried with that, and if we like developmentally would be behind. I think in some ways it affected us like when we were really young. Like I know my sister, since we were so early, her enamel on her teeth, like this is so random, her enamel on her teeth didn't develop fully, and so she had to use like special toothpaste and had more cavities and stuff, but I guess I was okay. I feel like she had like the short end of the stick, maybe because she was born first, so I had the extra like minute or two of like developing in the womb. I don't know, but yeah, we were like 1 minute apart because we were C-section. So yeah, that was like a lot of tea. Any of you preemies? But it's funny because we were both so tall, like I'm 5'9", 5'8", and so we caught up quick, I suppose. But yeah, wow, this was such a long Q&A. It was needed though. We needed this catch up. I hope you guys like this little chit chat. Thank you so much for watching, and I will catch you in my next video. Bye. Guys, this was my view for the end of the video. P.S. Look at this angel. Are you kidding me? That can't be comfy on your head like that. This was my tripod, this chair. I love you. Sweet dreams, angel.